Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream. Today, Ron Nicoletti here. We are back on the turf. That is good news. We are fast and firm this afternoon, and there you see the 10 palm trees, whatever is up there. But the big news, of course, is back on the turf. In addition, we have a $650,000 jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six. We got a 10-race card on this nice Sunday morning, and it's the Rainbow Six starts in race number 5 today. So as we start today, and each and every day, we got a couple of pick fives, early pick five, late pick five, two pick fours when we have a 10-race card. So lots of action throughout the afternoon, and as I mentioned, 650 large in the Rainbow Six in race 5. So with that said, let's get right into the card here, and we're back on the turf, as I mentioned, in race number 1. Happens to be about 7.5 furlongs on the turf, and these are maiden claiming filly 2-year-olds, $35,000. Great way to start the day. And I went with the horse that's currently favored on the board very, very early in the wagering, and that is the one Blame the Vets, and it's a daughter of Productive Turf sire Kitten's Joy. But this one is out of a Warfront mare called Voice. So when I see Warfront and I see Kitten's Joy, I know this horse is bred for the grass and certainly bred for the distance, trained by Tom Proctor and ridden today by Kaibar Koa. So the number 1 horse taking just the early money now, very early in the wagering. A couple other horses I used in the race, the 2 Over the Blue Sky, who's debuting on the turf and stretching out around 2 turns after rallying to finish second against those 25 maidens. That was going 5.5 furlongs. It was on that sealed sloppy track. But this daughter of Overanalyze gets a nod on the previous experience angle today, albeit that experience was on the dirt and on a sloppy track. But these 2-year-olds, get that race under their belt. It really helps them out. The number 5, She's an Animal, is a daughter of Animal Kingdom, so this one would like the grass. Debuting for Tim Ham with the breeding needing certainly to succeed, especially at this 7.5 furlong distance. Romero Mirage will ride this afternoon. So back on the turf in race number 1, 1, 2, and 5 for me. I'm going to flip the page and go to race number 2 today, and it's a 6 furlong maiden claimer for 3-year-olds, $16,000. Not a lot of scratches on the card today either. We left most of the main track onlys in to see how the day plays out as far as the weather, but we're hoping it lasts all day long. So the fast main track for race number 2, which starts our first of 2 pick fours today. This one is, I'm going to go with the number 2 horse in here, Big Red Style, who I don't even know if this one is, no, it's a 15-1 on the board. Wow. This one is dropping to the 16 level after returning from about a 7-month layoff to finish a useful chase and fade 5th. That was against maiden special weight competition. Ramon Miguet is the trainer, and who is in the irons? Chantel Sutherland just had a bang-up 4-win day yesterday, including a victory in the Monroe, the stakes that was moved to the main track. So Chantal riding in great form. She's had a couple of wins every day, but she broke out yesterday with that 4-win day, and she will be a top number 2, Big Red Style. The number 3, Sandy Dude, beating a length going a mile, went second at the 12.5 level. That was 2 starts back. Drops today and turns back after to 3/4 of a mile, as we're talking about. Just to finish a distant 4th against those 16 maidens, and that's going 7/8 of a mile. So it looks like a logical contender in there. And the horse that is the morning line favorite in there, Gigantic, is another dropping into the maiden claiming ranks. Which, go back and look at this horse's last race, broke poorly. Then he rushes up, chases the pace, and calls it a day against those maiden special rate runners, and that was going a mile. Louis Russell is pretty sharp. He's 3 for 10, 30% with similar class drops, so he spots his horses where they should run well, and that one, the big favorite on the line today. So we'll see how that number 6 runs. I'm going to go with Big Red Style, see if we can get Chantal starting the day on a winning note. Race 3 this afternoon, back on the firm turf course at about 7.5 furlongs. Claimers, these are 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 races. 12.5 down to $10,000. No scratches in the field. And when I'm done, of course, each and every day, track announcer Pete Aiello will update you with all the scratches and changes you need. I got some interest in hearing another long shot, and it's on the outside. So once the scratches do come in on this turf, this one will be breaking from post 11. I'll tell you why I like this horse. This one's going to step up to face winners. You look at its last race, duel throughout, and really held on gamely. Didn't only win, defeated a trio of next out winners, in which now I'm officially calling a key race. Anytime you see three horses come out and win a race, and this one was the winner of that race. Ernesto Ochoa has Edgar Zayas. Of course, going about 7.5 furlongs, the outside post is always tough. Once the main track only is scratched inside, maybe it'll be good for this horse today, and I just like coming out of that race and getting a price at 12-1 with Edgar Zayas in the saddle. Let's go right next door to the number 11 Express Faro, who's dropping to the 12.5 level today and cutting back to 7.5 furlongs after sort of having some trouble at the start, bobbled at the start, then rushes up to set the pace in that race before tiring, finished ninth and last. That was against those 20 claimers going a mile. But if you look at this horse's turf races, 2 and 3 back, both those races are good enough to win here. So you see he had trouble at the gate last time out. 2 and 3 back, he runs well enough to beat these 12.5 claimers. And then the inside horse in here, number 1, Call Bros. It was given some time off after following a well-meant second-place finish at this level and distance. That was back in April. And, you know, with a poor showing from a tough outside post during May. So had, you know, a good performance. Had a bad performance. They put him on the shelf, coming back for Joe Orsino with Miguel Vasquez in the saddle today. So we'll see how this horse runs, if he can recapture that form it showed back in April. So for me, 12 majority rules at 12-1 on the line. Number 11, Express Faro, and number 1, Call Burrows. Next race, fourth race, is 6.5 furlong sprint. These are maiden claiming fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $20,000. Do have a scratch in here of the number 2, so we'll have a 5-horse field in here. And I think Mizzen is the one to beat in here. Mizzen's going to turn back to 6.5 furlongs. We're going to go back and show you this horse's last race. We're going to pick it up from the 8th pole home when Mizzen just can't hold off the 6-5 favorite in there. Now you see Mizzen is the number 4 horse in number 7 horse in the race, excuse me, and just, you know, comes down and just can't hold off. And this is coming back from a 7-month layoff. So I just thought that this horse running well after the layoff, coming back, turning back a little bit this afternoon to the 6.5 furlongs was going to be key for that horse. So that was a pretty good performance. And if you look at Juan C. Avila, he's 3 for 6, 50% with the second start after a 180-day plus layoff. So you're expecting this horse to run well. Got that good table setter in, going 7/8 of a mile to the turn back today. The number 6, Exclusive Uncaptured, is another one going to cut back to this distance after responding to a drop down in competition with a set the pace 4th. That was behind Mizzen last time out, so maybe the same case holds for this horse with the turn back to 6.5. Kathleen O'Connell has Luca Panici atop the 3-year-old. And then there's 2 horses in this race, and it's only a 5-horse field. 2 trained by Antonio Sana, one being the number 4, Camisio, and the other one being Check Twice. I lean towards the 4-horse in here, who's stepping up and stretching out after recovering from some trouble at the start to finish third against 12.5 maidens going 5.5 furlongs. Lionel Reyes will ride that part of the uncoupled entry, so you got some strength in numbers here, especially when you're dealing with only a 5-horse field. But I'm going to still go with Mizzen on top. The other thing I'm going to do is take a short break. I'm going to come back. I'll show you my Rainbow 6 ticket.
In the 2 path. Ground on first inside. Race. And a 1/4 mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. A couple of minutes afternoon. Ron Nicoletti here, be with you throughout the whole afternoon, trying to give you some useful updates. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, or if you're just joining, $650,000 is the number, the jackpot guaranteed today in the Rainbow Six. So a nice chunk of change. And I got an interesting $48.60 ticket. Got lots of early coverage. In race number 5, I went with the 4 King Otakar, the number 12 Calabash, and the number 10 Honorable. 3 deep again in race number 6, Story Told, Chestnut Checkers, and Northern Transit. Had a scratch in there of Chrome Racer, horse I really like today, but going to run another day. And race number 7, 3 deep again, would include the Beast, Leyenda, and World Gone Wild, who had a troubled start, but it did not matter. We'll talk about that horse in a little while. 3 deep again in race number 8 with Uncle Jamo as Symptomatic and Lazaretto in there. And let's go right to the last race. I got American, of course, in race number 9. I'm putting all my eggs in one basket in race number 10, and that's on Moni, who's dropping to the 12 level today. Had tons of trouble last time out. I think it would a clean trip. Certainly might be able to win that final race. And I have lots of early coverage, which I like, so I have to wait around. Hope I get all the way through to race number 10 with my fingers crossed. Getting back to this 5th race, it's a mile and a 16th on the turf. These are claimed as 3-year-olds or 4 and up, non-winners of 3 races in life, $12,500 down to $10,000. One scratch in here so far of the number 9 horse. I did go with the number 4, King Otakar on top, who's dropping today to the 12-5 level after facing tougher on the turf, both here and up at Tampa Bay, before going to the sidelines in March. Mark Cassie, Luca Panici in the saddle. But the number 12 horse got a break from the outside, but it looks like this will be post-10 today when the main track only comes out, and that's Calabash, who's going to depart from the outside today after rallying 4 wide to finish 4th. Was the 3-5 favorite that afternoon at this level and distance. And why? Because it was Safi Joseph Jr., and you're getting J.C. Diaz Jr. handling that outside draw today. And then the number 10 horse in here, Honorable, who's another one getting some needed class relief, I believe, this afternoon after showing some early interest and fading against those 20 claimers going a mile on the grass for Mike Maker. Sammy Camacho up this $60,000 son of Constitution. So the first leg of the Rainbow Six, I'm going with the 4, the 12, and the number 10. In race number 6 this afternoon, it's a 5.5 furlong sprint. These are maiden claiming fillies. 2-year-olds did have one scratch in here of Chrome Racer, who I thought was going to run well, but we'll wait for another day. So this one is going to kick off the late pick 5, the final 5 races on the card. As you know, only a great 50% wager. People love that bet. This race, as I mentioned, for the fillies, 2-year-olds, I scratched into the 3 Story Told, who's stretching out to the 5.5 furlongs. Really, after a solid 5 furlong debut in which he set a pressured pace and finished that game second for Jose Pinchin, Edgar Zayas will be in the saddle this afternoon. What about the 8 horse in here? Chess, not Checkers. This one's going to the Dave Bradybun. He jumped in and grabbed this off out of the debut. Stepping up, rallied really nicely in its debut to come within the neck of winning her $25,000 career debut, going 5/8 of a mile. Luca Panici, a couple of wins over the last couple of days, and doing good. They're going to ride for this horse now. They jumped in and grabbed it for a quarter, stepping it up to 50. Might turn out to be a lateral move. And then a horse that's working exceptionally well in here is the number 4, Northern Transit, who's the daughter of Northern Fleet by a Fleet, debuting for a trainer, Tim Ham. Solid workout showing up at Palm Meadows. I like that recent gate work in 48 flat, second best of the runners there. So if that horse could translate that to the afternoon, might be a danger in here. So the 3 Story Told, the 8 Chestnut Checkers, and the 4 Northern Transit. We're going to turn the page and go to race number 7 here. And race 7 is where our final pick 4 will start on Sunday afternoon. And it's 5.5 furlongs. And these are claiming fillies, 3-year-olds, or fillies and mares 4 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life, so everybody gets the chance to run a bunch of conditions in this race. I started it off with there was 2 scratches in here, 6 and 7, so we're dealing with a 5-horse field. The number 2, Include the Beast, is turning back to 5.5 furlongs. couple of solid efforts going 3/4 of a mile in which he set the pace. And before getting collared at the wire, Orby Mirage, he lightened the impost today. He's got 7-pound apprentice Mario Fuentes handling a turn back in distance. So got some speed, got turned back, and you're getting some break in the ways. All adds up to a pretty dangerous situation, a good situation for the connections. The number 4, Leyenda, is hoping to find more firepower today for the stretch run after breaking from the outside. That was post 11 last time out, making that middle move before fading to finish 4th behind Include the Beast last time out, Antonio Sano. Going to have Gadiel Martinez in the saddle today. I mentioned that when I was talking about my Rainbow Six ticket about the 3 World Gone Wild. So we're going to show this horse's start, and then we're going to show this horse's finish in its last race. In this one, here you're going to see the start where it's number 7, just almost goes to its nose there, so gets that tough start. So hard to win, but then you turn for home. Now he's on and off track, and this horse just comes flying. After a start like that, that proves how much to bet this horse that was this day for Kathleen O'Connell. Miguel Vasquez in the saddle going for 2 in a row. So I wanted to show the start, and then I want to show this horse through the stretch. Not a lot of times when horses, stumble like that, do they get a chance to go up. Did the off-track help? That's what we'll find out with the fast conditions today. But I could not leave her off my ticket. So for me, Include the Beast, the 4 Leander, and I'm also going to include World Gone Wild. 8th race this afternoon is a mile and a 16th on the turf. Maiden Claim is 3 and up. Really nice betting race. 8 will go to the post, excuse me. And I did go with the number 4 in here, Uncle Jamo, who's dropping to the 25 level after following that nose defeat at the distance. That was against 50 maidens. Now, that was 2 starts back. Now, you read the trouble line in its last race. He just got pinballed at the start, right after the start, so he had some trouble. That was also against $50,000 foes going a mile. So David Fawkes has Miguel Vasquez handling the drop down. Another horse that intrigues me from the David Fawkes barn is the number 2, Asymptomatic, the Irish bred. And this one, it's a new gelding and gets Lasix. First starts and is finishing 4th. Now, it was a maiden special weight turf sprint here, but it was last July. That was while the horse was in the Wesley Ward barn. MCL Jaramillo rides this half of the young couple entry. Just kept going back to this horse. One of those horses that, you just expect that maybe this one is going to be better than Uncle Jambo, but we'll see. Maybe they run 1-2 in the exacta for David Fawkes. And then the number 6 horse in there, Lazaretto. This one changing barns, went to the Gilberto Zerpa barn after the claim. Then was sent to the sidelines after encountering early trouble, was bumped around in its last race, finishing that late closing 3rd against 12-5 maidens going a mile on the grass. He returns to action. He's now a gelding, as I mentioned, and he's getting blinkers added, so he hasn't been seen in a while, but the barn is good first off the claim. We'll see how this horse runs off the bench today. So race number 8 is Uncle Jamo, the 4, Asymptomatic, the 2, and the number 6, Lazaretto for me. 9th race this afternoon is a 6 1/2 furlong sprint. It's a starter optional claimer. They're fillies advanced 3-year-olds and up who started for $25 or less, or the optional claiming price of $25,000 and less. And we're going to go with the number 2 in here, American, of course, who gets the call. I think this one is the speed of the speed. We're just going to go back and show you this horse. We're going to pick it up from the 8-pole home when American, of course, cruises to notch her 2nd consecutive victory. It was just, the jock was just sitting there, and it was like, I think he showed it a whip once. It was that good of a performance. And the speed, and there's some good horses in this race that this one's going to be facing, but I just thought this was a good performance. And American, of course, wins on July 4th. So we got, it was the hunch play of the day that afternoon. It certainly did it. So that was the reasoning. Now let's show you a stat on Kathleen O'Connor when the horse is doing what that horse did. Winner last time out, all claimers, sprints on the dirt. Big sampling. She's 25 for 113, 22%. 49% in the money, and a positive return of investment of $2.10. American, of course, is my top play because this one is the speed of the speed in here, and Semi Camacho going for the 4-year-olds, 3rd consecutive victory. Now, there's some good horses in I mentioned here, and I think probably when the smoke clears, the number 7, Corey's going to be the favorite. This one goes to the Peter Waldebon after the claim, added to her local horse for course status when she won for the 3rd time in 4 races here. Walder is good, first off the claim, almost bats 25%. This one you're going to see stalking on the outside. I think this one's going to stalk the pace, at least the way I see the race playing out, with American, of course, being the speed of the speed. And then you got Baby Lion, who's making a usually fruitful third start back from a layoff. This one had some trouble at the start, sort of stumbled a little bit when finishing second behind Corey last time out. So Safi has J.C. Diaz Jr. handling that rematch, and it's Safi Joseph Jr. But I'm going to go with American, of course. I just think the speed might be the way to go in there. I wouldn't leave Corey off my ticket. And Baby Lion just because it's Safi Joseph Jr. Our final race of the day, the 10th race. As I mentioned, this is where I got my single in the Rainbow Six. This one is about 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Their claim is 3-year-olds of 4 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, 12-5 down to $10,000. And as I mentioned, I went with the number 7, Moni. This one is dropping to the 12-5 level after getting just steadied repeatedly in that race when finishing 7th against 16 claimers last time out. But you look at his performance at this level 2 starts back, and I think he's the one to beat in here. So I'm going off that. I'm going to go with the trouble trip last time out. And if you have a chance to go back and look at it, go and you'll see what I'm talking about in there. And Moni, certainly, I didn't show it today because I wasn't sure the races were going to be on the turf. That is not the case. So you find it and you'll see how much trouble that horse was in. The number 4, Diligent, is making his first start since knocking on the door in back-to-back turf outings versus this level of competition for Eddie Plesa Jr. And you're getting Edgar Zayas handling the return to action today, so coming off the bench. And then the one, Mr. Axel, in here, I think is the morning line favorite, if I believe, has speed to rail and a chance really to lead this group from flag fall to finish for trainer Michelle Nihei, who spots the gelding perfectly. I think at the 12-5 level, that might be the key. But the reason I went with Moni so much is this horse has some, recent form. Diligent coming off the bench. Mixter Axel, we'll see this one coming off. Maybe it's a chance for the 7 to win it today. So that's how I see the 10-race card. And you'll know I'll be waiting for that 10th race with the number 7. With that said, it's time to go to our lightning round this afternoon, which we'll pick up right after this break.
Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new mobile pass performances. Access the most trusted information in horse racing, including exclusive buyer speed figures and DRF analysis and selections. Experience the new mobile optimized DRF pass performances on your phone from anywhere at any time. Go to drf.com/now. Use coupon code NOW to get a free single card and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand.
Welcome back to Gulfstream. Today, it is time for the lightning round. And, of course, we have to start it off with Chantal Sutherland, who had a 4-win day yesterday. And we're going to pick up her performance in our stakes race. And this is Key Biscayne, who's coming from Key Biscayne. This one was way far back. Didn't look like this horse had a chance in the stretch, but Chantal rode perfectly to catch Starship Enterprise, who's really gotten better, just at the wire, which notched her 4th victory on the day in the $75,000 the Monroe. There you go. She's got the 4 fingers up, so congratulations to Chantal. And that was a really nice ride by her. So we added a little international flair today to the lightning round. We wanted to go back and show you a horse that won the King George yesterday, and that is Adiyar. And the reason we wanted to mention this horse, you see him so game on the inside. This is the first horse since Galileo 20 years ago to win the Epsom Classic, the Queen Elizabeth, and the King George. So they're comparing this to one of the greatest horses ever. So we'll see. This just was so brilliant in this race and just ran well. And if you're a fan of this racing, that was it just a great horse. And we'll see how this horse progresses throughout the summer and into the fall. Could be here maybe for the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar. We'll see how that happens. Then we had a great day of racing at our sister track yesterday, and the feature race turned out to be a good one, and it was the BWI Grade 3 International Turf Cup and Field pass for Mike Maker. Look at this horse on the inside. Just watch this stretch run between these two horses. It was so good. They're just dueling, and it was just a great performance. Look at Field Pass on the inside. This horse would not be denied, and they were rubbing the paint on the rail and got up. So congratulations to the Connection. It was really it's exciting performance and a great day up there. They were on the turf. And now we're going to go take a trip a little down the highway there to Saratoga with a big upset today, and we're going to show you this race. It was the Grade 1 Coaching Club American Oats, and there is Malathat undefeated for Todd Pletcher, but who comes up? And it's Maracucha who gets the job done. The biggest price on the 14-1 on the board. And I mean, this horse, we thought no one could beat Malathat, but that's horse racing. So just wanted to show you this upset in here, and I guess a lot of people tore up their tickets in that one, but so it was great. We were on the East Coast, we went to Europe, and of course we had such great success here with Chantal. So that's the the lightning round, the early card. I'll be back throughout the day. Maybe it'll be even more fun.
And they're off. Second in the two-path. Round on first inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.